Imagine descending 13,000 feet straight down into the earth. That's deeper than the tallest mountain is high, deeper than most commercial airplanes fly, deeper than the Titanic rests on the ocean floor. Now imagine doing that every single day. Not as a human, because no human could survive what I'm about to show you, but as a robot. A robot that wakes up every morning and goes to work in literal hell on Earth. This isn't some distant future scenario. Right now, as you're watching this video, there's a robot descending into the deepest man-made holes on our planet, going places where the very rock around it could cook you alive, where the pressure could crush your bones, and where one wrong move means being buried under millions of tons of earth forever. Let me take you on a journey to the most extreme workplace on Earth, a place called Mponeng Gold Mine in South Africa. It's not just any mine. It's the deepest mine humanity has ever created, and at its bottom, 13,843 feet below the surface, robots are doing something that defies everything you think you know about what's possible. But here's what's going to blow your mind. 2,000 feet underground? That's nothing. That's barely scratching the surface of where these mechanical workers actually go. The journey begins at sunrise in the South African desert, where the only thing visible above ground is a modest industrial complex that gives no hint of the engineering marvel beneath. But beneath your feet lies a vertical city, a network of tunnels and shafts that extends deeper into the earth than some people will ever travel horizontally in their entire lives. The robot, let's call him Atlas, begins his descent in an elevator that takes 45 minutes to reach the bottom. 45 minutes of falling through solid rock, past layers of earth that formed millions of years ago, through temperatures that start comfortable and end up hot enough to kill. As Atlas descends, the walls of the shaft tell a story written in stone. At 1,000 feet, he passes through rock formed when dinosaurs walked the earth. At 3,000 feet, he's moving through formations from when the first life crawled out of the oceans. At 6,000 feet, he's deeper than any natural cave system ever discovered, and he's only halfway to his destination. The deeper he goes, the more hostile the environment becomes. The temperature rises by 1 degree for every 100 feet of depth. By the time Atlas reaches the working levels, the rock around him is naturally heated to 140 degrees Fahrenheit, hot enough to cook an egg, hot enough to kill a human in minutes without protection. But temperature is just the beginning. The pressure at this depth is crushing, literally crushing. The weight of nearly 3 miles of solid rock pressing down creates forces that can squeeze steel like a soda can. The mine has to use ice machines working around the clock, pumping freezing air down the shafts, just to make the working areas barely survivable for the robots. And yes, you heard that right, the robots. Because no human being can work at these depths for extended periods. The combination of heat, pressure, humidity, and toxic gases makes it a death trap for anything that breathes. That's where Atlas and his mechanical colleagues come in. These aren't the cute robots you see in movies. They're industrial titans, built like tanks and designed for one purpose: to go where no living thing can survive and extract gold from the bones of the earth itself. Atlas weighs 3 tons, stands 8 feet tall, and is equipped with drilling arms that can punch through solid rock like it's butter. Every day, Atlas begins his work in what miners call the face, the active mining area where gold is extracted from quartz veins formed billions of years ago. Here, in chambers carved from living rock, he operates in conditions that would be instantly fatal to humans. The air is so hot and humid it would sear your lungs. The rock dust would choke you in seconds. The noise from his drilling operations is so loud it would damage your hearing permanently. But Atlas doesn't get tired. He doesn't get claustrophobic. He doesn't worry about the millions of tons of rock above his head, held up by nothing but engineering calculations and steel supports. He just works, hour after hour, day after day, extracting tons of rock that might contain just a few ounces of gold. The most incredible part? Atlas isn't alone down there. The Mponeng mine operates what amounts to an underground robot city. There are transport robots that haul ore through tunnels barely wide enough for them to pass. There are maintenance robots that repair equipment in areas too dangerous for humans to enter. There are survey robots that map new tunnels and check for structural integrity. They communicate with each other through a network that stretches 13,000 feet down through solid rock. They coordinate their movements like a mechanical ballet, each robot knowing exactly where the others are at all times. Because in this underground world, a collision isn't just an accident, it could trigger a cave-in that would bury them all forever. But here's where it gets really fascinating. These robots aren't just following pre-programmed instructions. They're learning, adapting, making decisions. When Atlas encounters a vein of gold-bearing ore, he has to decide the best angle to drill, how much explosive to use, how to extract the maximum amount of precious metal while keeping the tunnel structure intact. The technology behind these underground robots is absolutely mind-blowing.
They navigate using a combination of GPS signals. Yes, GPS works underground when you have the right equipment. Laser mapping and inertial guidance systems originally developed for submarines. They can create 3D maps of unexplored areas in real time, identifying potential hazards and opportunities that human miners would never spot. Their sensors can detect gas leaks that would kill humans instantly. They can measure rock stress levels that predict cave-ins before they happen. They can work in total darkness, in temperatures that would melt plastic, in air so toxic it would drop a person in seconds. And every single day, they make the same incredible journey, 13,000 feet down into the earth, into conditions more hostile than the surface of Mars, to extract the gold that powers our modern world. The economics are staggering. The Mponeng mine processes over 5,000 tons of rock every day to extract just a few ounces of gold. That's like searching through a mountain of gravel to find a handful of wedding rings. Without robots, this would be impossible. The human cost would be too high, the dangers too extreme. But it's not just about gold. These underground robots are pioneers, testing technologies that will eventually help us explore even more extreme environments. The same systems that keep Atlas operational at 13,000 feet underground are being adapted for robots that will explore the deepest ocean trenches, the caves of Mars, and maybe even the ice-covered moons of Jupiter. Right now, while you're sitting in comfort watching this video, Atlas is down there in the dark, in the heat, in the crushing pressure, doing work that pushes the absolute limits of what's possible. He's part of a new generation of mechanical workers who go places we never could, do jobs we never could, and expand the boundaries of human achievement without risking human lives. Tomorrow, Atlas will make the same journey again, down through 3 miles of solid rock, into temperatures that would kill, into pressures that would crush, into an alien world that exists right beneath our feet. He'll work his shift in conditions more extreme than anything science fiction writers ever imagined, then make the 45-minute journey back to the surface, ready to do it all again. Because in the deepest places on Earth, where the very planet itself becomes our enemy, robots like Atlas are our only hope of reaching the treasures buried in the darkness. They're not just machines, they're explorers, pioneers, and the advance guard of humanity's reach into the most impossible places imaginable. And they're down there right now, 13,000 feet below, working in the dark so we can live in the light.